How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to take a look back at two games in the Premier League last night. And last piece of news involves Arsenal, because Gary Neville has said that Arsenal's forward line is like a little mafia and they are not playing for Mikel Arteta.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place, we're going to start two games in the Premier League last night. And some decent moments in these games. And they will have repercussions at both ends of the table. But the first game, Everton, Crystal Palace. How on earth did Everton not win this game? Well, I think I know why. And it was because of the goalkeeper and some poor finishing from Richarlison. But they got their goal. They were 1-0 ahead, and it looked like that was going to be enough. James Rodriguez, of course, scored. And Crystal Palace equalised with 4 minutes to go. Batshuayi. Honestly, watching that game, I was sitting there thinking, how on earth have Crystal Palace managed to go and get themselves a point out of this game? Absolutely staggering on the balance of play. When you look at the statistics as well. Palace actually had more possession, but they had 15 shots on goal. Everton did. They had more on target, but it was more the clear-cut stuff. Everton had 5 clear-cut chances. Crystal Palace had none. Absolutely staggering. But doesn't it just show that sometimes, results just leave you scratching your head and wondering. But Crystal Palace, they'll be very, very happy with that point. Wolves against West Ham. What a win this is for West Ham. They move into the Champions League places. But I tell you something, it was a bit of near deja vu for West Ham. They raced into a 3-0 lead before half time. And then Wolves, they nearly done the same thing that Arsenal did before the international break. They scored just before half time. They go and get a second. And West Ham was sitting there, squeaky bum. There was a bit of a, oh no, they've done it again. But West Ham, I think they deserve the win. And the first goal in particular, Jesse Lingard, what a goal that was. Picked it up from his own half. Schoolboy defending, to be fair. But Jesse Lingard, very, very good. Great finish. And he's having an unbelievable time at the moment since he's gone on loan to West Ham. And it makes you wonder why he wasn't doing this at Manchester United. What went so wrong for Jesse Lingard? And what is going so right for him, since he's gone to West Ham? Would he be able to go back to Manchester United and rediscover that? Or has it taken something like this, and maybe a club like West Ham, with all due respect to them, to get this kind of form back out of Jesse Lingard? Sometimes things can go a little bit stale. Player could be a club too long. Maybe that's what it is. But West Ham, that's a brilliant win for them, like I said. And when you look at the Premier League table, and absolutely staggering. I still can't believe West Ham are in the Champions League places. 8 games to go. Of course, Manchester City flying away at the top. It's just inevitable. When they're going to win their Premier League title. Manchester United in second. They sit on 60 points. And I can't see them falling out of the Champions League places now. That's done for me. Leicester, 56 points. They're a team that's going to be looking over their shoulder. West Ham in 4th place on 52 points. Chelsea in 5th place on 51. Tottenham in 6th place on 49. Liverpool also on 49 points. But they sit 7th because of goal difference. Everton, that's a big 2 points dropped when you look at that. Because they're on 47 points, but they do have a game in hand. So you look at that and you think, if they would have won that game in hand and never dropped those 2 points against Palace last night, then they could have been level on points with West Ham in Champions League places. Aston Villa 44 points, and they also have a game in hand. And then you have Arsenal on 42 points, played 30 games. And I think the only silver lining for me as an Arsenal fan is that we've got a run of games now. I think it's about 5 or 6 games before we play Chelsea, where you look at and you say, we should win them. We should. But this is Arsenal we're talking about. And it's been a horrendous season in terms of the Premier League. There's no masking over that in any way, shape or form. Leeds United on 42 points as well. And then Crystal Palace in 12th on 38. That defeat for Wolves leaves them in 14th place on 35 points. I think they're safe of the battle for relegation. When you go right down to third from bottom, which of course is Fulham. They've played a game more and they're on 26. Newcastle, they are still in that mix, although they do have a game in hand, 29 points. Brighton, 32 points. Burnley, 33 points. West Brom and Sheffield United, they're down for me. Despite West Brom's fantastic victory over Chelsea at the weekend, it would be just the great escape, if they were able to do that, but I can't see it. But yeah, that's where we stand in the Premier League at the moment. So very, very interesting results. Now, next piece of news involves Arsenal. Now, Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher have torn into Arsenal whilst talking on Monday Night Football. And Gary Neville in particular has absolutely ripped into Arsenal and the forwards in particular. And he said that he felt really uncomfortable watching Arsenal during commentary on Saturday. He goes on to say that I was alarmed. We know Arsenal are inconsistent and they are in transition under Mikel Arteta, so you don't ordinarily think it will stand out. But at half-time on Saturday, I was really uncomfortable with what I had seen. At the end of the game, I did something that I don't ordinarily do. Normally, I just get off and leave. I sat around for a few minutes with Martin Tyler and I was like, what was that? There's been a number of times on Monday Night Football over the last few years where my anger has sort of emerged in a couple of days since the game. Coming out on Saturday, I felt like there were a few players in that front part of the pitch. It looked like a little mafia. It looked like a little group of players that were not comfortable, like there was a disconnect between them and the manager, like the manager looked like he had had enough of them. Against Liverpool, Arsenal's front six options were Alexandre Lacazette, Aubameyang, Pepe, Ødegaard, Cabellos and Thomas Partey. Neville criticised their efforts against Liverpool, suggesting that Ødegaard was the only one to try a few times to press Liverpool, but that he was on his own. The rest of them, I'd go as far to say they were a joke. The lack of energy, Callum Chambers, he's an honest kid. You can see he was trying to push on Pepe. And all of the way through the first half, I was watching and getting more and more uncomfortable with their efforts. Mikel Arteta said he was shocked. I think he would have been shocked with the lack of application he saw in the front part of his team against the ball. And I could show at least 20 examples. Yes, pretty scathing, his assessment. But at the same time, how can you argue with it? When you look back at that performance, that was alarming. That was, for me, one of the worst performances I've seen from Arsenal in years. Before Mikel Arteta. Years. That was just abject, abysmal, just weak and spineless. Everything you can think of. It just awful. Absolutely horrendous. And these problems that we're seeing with certain players and the situation with Aubameyang, it's now, you know, reaching the mainstream media. It's not just fan channels talking about this anymore. It's not just me or whoever on AFTV mentioning it or whatever. It's mainstream. You know, these players have got to see this now. They've got to get an understanding that people have clocked on to what's going on in front of them. And it don't look good. It really don't. It does look like with some of them, it's a battle of, you know, manager or player, and you know, Jamie Carragher turned around and said, don't be getting rid of Mikel Arteta, be getting rid of the players. They're the ones that should be out of the door, because a new manager will come in, they'll play well for a little bit, and then it'll happen again. Same thing happened when Unai Emery came in. Players raised their levels from dipping so alarmingly towards the end of Arsene Wenger's reign. And then they had enough of him. He lost the dressing room and then they started playing like crap. So, yes, not great. I never really looked at it in great depth at the time. I was like, yeah, we're poor. That was awful. But never really looked at it deeper than that. But since, yeah, and hearing these words from Neville himself, somebody that's played the game and been in and around, you know, a dressing room, don't look great. It really don't. And it'd be interesting to see how we perform on Thursday in the Europa League. And then we might be able to get some sort of gauge as to whether there is something in this or not. So, yeah, we will wait and see. So, there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.